The playground noise faded into the background as Nia stood in the center of the grass. She held the wooden box with both hands, its weight steady and familiar. Inside, the marbles shifted with a soft, hollow clatter. Freddie and Nia moved closer, their eyes fixed on her hands. Nia knelt. She took a breath, the air still and expectant. She pulled the first marble from the box and set it firmly onto the ground. "One," she said. The sound was clear, cutting through the distant hum of the park. She reached into the box again, her fingers brushing against the cool glass of the remaining marbles. She pulled out the second one, placing it exactly an inch from the first. 2. She did not look up at her friends. Her focus remained entirely on the row forming on the grass. The sunlight hit the glass, casting small, distorted circles of color onto the blades of green. Freddie leaned in, his shadow stretching toward the marbles, but Nia kept her gaze locked on the line. The game had begun. Freddie reached out, his fingers hovering inches from the second marble. Nia saw the movement and shifted her weight, placing her palm firmly between his hand and the row. She did not speak, but her eyes signaled a clear boundary. She turned back to the box and pulled out the third marble. She set it down with a sharp, deliberate click. Then the fourth. She worked with precision, keeping the line perfectly straight against the uneven grass. Freddie pulled his hand back, watching closely as she reached for the fifth. The anticipation in the air changed. Addie, who had been silent until now, leaned forward, his breathing syncing with Nia's movements. As she placed the fifth marble, she said 5 in a steady, rhythmic tone. Sam repeated the word instantly, his voice matching hers. The isolation of the game broke. They were no longer just observers. They were participants in the count. Nia nodded, her focus sharpening as the social barrier dissolved. The rhythm was established, a steady pulse of sound and movement. Nia reached into the box for the sixth piece. Her fingers brushed the glass, but it skittered against the rim, popped out, and hit the grass with a sharp thud. It did not stop. It gathered speed, rolling away from the circle toward the chain-link fence at the edge of the playground. The rhythmic counting stopped instantly. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by the faint, metallic clicking of the marble against the dirt. Nia did not hesitate. She pushed off the ground, her sneakers digging into the turf as she sprinted after the escaping glass. It bounced off a stray pebble, veering toward the fence base. She lunged, her hands sweeping through the grass to scoop it up just before it vanished into the weeds. She stood, chest heaving, and turned back to the group. Freddie and Addie were watching, their faces tight with anticipation. She walked back, her pace measured, and knelt in the same spot. She placed the marble firmly at the end of the line. 6, she said. The tension snapped. The game was whole again, and the rhythm resumed its steady, forward momentum. The pace shifted. Nia reached into the box and pulled out the 7th marble, setting it down with a rapid, rhythmic snap. 7, she called out. Freddie and Addie were leaning in, their voices rising to meet hers. She grabbed the 8th, the movement now a blur of motion. 8, they shouted together. The playground air seemed to vibrate with their energy. Nia did not pause, her hand diving back into the wooden box for the 9th. She placed it perfectly in line. 9, the group roared, their voices overlapping in a single, powerful sound. Nia stood up, her eyes locked on the final marble resting in her palm. She raised her arm high, lifting the glass sphere toward the sun. The light caught the surface, turning the marble into a brilliant, glowing point of focus. The silence of the group was absolute. Nia held the pose, her breath steady, then brought her arm down in a swift, decisive arc. She slammed the 10th marble into the grass. 10! She yelled. The group erupted into cheers, their voices blending into a triumphant shout that echoed across the playground. The cheers settled into a low hum as Nia knelt back down. She reached for the 10th marble, lifted it from the grass, and dropped it into the wooden box. 10, she whispered. She moved to the 9th, then the 8th, her fingers working with steady precision. Each marble clicked against the wood, a rhythmic undoing of the line. 7, 6, 5. The group watched in silence, the high energy of the climax cooling into a calm, focused rhythm. 4, 3, 2. She picked up the final marble and held it for a heartbeat before letting it join the others. 1. The box was full again. Nia stood, the weight of the wood resting in her palms. She turned toward Leo and held the box out, her arm extended. She pointed to the empty patch of grass where the line had been. Freddy stepped forward, his fingers closing around the edges of the box.